Okay, this won't go. Okay. Let's get started. So you want to start a bullet journal, but you're broke and you don't want to spend $20, $30, $40, $50 on markers, notebooks, and all the jazz because that's just insane. Luckily, I got you covered because I'm in the same boat. So, welcome to this guide where I show you broke bullet journaling tips and tricks. Now, before we get started with this back to school video where we journal aesthetically, this is also a collaboration with Chloe's Crazy Life. She's also doing a back to school video on DIY trendy backpacks, so don't forget to check out her video after watching mine. I'll have it linked down below and up above, and subscribe to her channel too. And if you're from there, hi, welcome. Let's get started because I know you don't want to hear me rambling much longer. Starting off this video, we have a haul in which I'm also not being sponsored by anyone. First, we have a boring black notebook which has grid line papers, and I would also suggest for you to get a notebook that has grid line papers because things are just much more easier to measure on these, and you could easily place things here and there, and you could find very cheap ones from either Walmart or the dollar store. Next, we have the main pens being used in this journal, which is a 0.7 ballpoint pen and a bleedless Sharpie felt tip marker. And we all know that pens and markers can be very expensive, but these ones are not, and you will most likely already have some at home. Oh, and a pencil too. And then we have this scrapbook paper set, which split in half right before making this video, but this has just some pattern papers and colored papers, pastel colors, because I like pastel colors, and I got that for like cheap at Walmart. And then I have some washi tape, which I got for $1 at Walmart as well. And a sticker book, which I got for $1.50 at Walmart, which has these following stickers. I also found these $5 calligraphy pens at Walmart, and because they're $5, I'm guessing the ink doesn't last long, but still they're pretty nice. It has a thick side and a thin side, and it has this angle, which I'm sure helps a lot with calligraphy. And then if you can't find like cheap calligraphy pens like that, you could also use the Crayola markers that don't really open easily. Because of the angle of the little tip, it's really easy to do calligraphy. I also have a pair of scissors and some tape just in case, and here's a broken, very old pencil box that has also very old colored pencils, but hey, I didn't spend any money. And lo and behold, those are the basic supplies that you would need when starting off a bullet journal when you're broke. This is our title page. Now, I won't be lying when I say that I really heavily relied on Pinterest when it came to all the bullet journaling ideas, so I would suggest to also use things like Pinterest. And starting off, I did the title page on the wrong page, and I used this quote. Most people use quotes for their title page. I was born wild to be wild, but only until 9 p.m. or so. And then I did some doodles here and there, but as you could see, my calligraphy, my handwriting isn't really that great here. So it's calligraphy time. So if you're having trouble with pretty handwriting, I got you covered. Now, if you don't have practice with cursive already, do that first. But literally the biggest tip is to use a pencil first and then outline it with any pen or marker. You could also just straight off do it with a pen or marker first. And another big tip is that where the areas curve and do loop-de-loops when it comes to the letters, make those areas thicker. And that just gives it the effect that you actually did it in one go. And using the Crayola pens is very helpful because it's very lightweight and you could easily maneuver with it, making the areas thicker by pressing down harder and making the areas thinner by kind of lifting it up a bit. It takes a bit of practice. I still need a little bit of practice, but these are the pens to start off with. And then if you find calligraphy pens, of course these are awesome too. Because of the angle of the tip, it makes making sides thicker and making the parts thinner much easier. And of course you don't always have to do cursive. You could do other types of fonts as well, thin letters and spaced out cursive. I love that. Like ever since I saw the whole bullet journaling thing, the spaced out cursive is literally so aesthetic. You can also just do your normal handwriting, because what's wrong with that? And block letters. And another thing you could do with block letters is add letters inside. It adds some character. And bubble letters, because we want to bring our childhood back. And another really cool font is to write just in normal handwriting with a light pen, and then go back and do the spaced out cursive on top. Another very aesthetic font. And another tip is that after you do your pretty cursive with like the really pretty curves here and there, I guess, curves, okay, you could also go through with another pen and add like a glow to the whole word. Another one is that you could again write normally and just do a line across. And as you can see, there's so many options. Moving on, we'll be doing the yearly overview, and as you can see, I also have my goals page, but just ignore that for now. As I mentioned, I did the title page on the wrong page, which made me cramp up the entirely yearly overview just on one side, but it kind of worked out. I did the months in cursive, and then I did the numbers for the days, which was very, very hard. And I just used a color pencil to give some character to the months. I did a quote at the bottom and decorated it a bit with some washi tape and doodles here and there. And lastly, I used a highlighter to highlight the most important dates of the year. Next, I did a page, or well, it's actually like 3 pages of yearly goals, and I did the whole thing of writing out the letter and then doing the curves much thicker. And I did it's called dividers apparently in bullet journaling language, where you just do a line, some leaves or whatever, and it just makes the page so much more aesthetic. Guys, this looks so bullet journaly. Oh my god, I'm so happy. And literally, it just solves everything, even if you make a mistake. But basically, when I was done, I just filled it out with my awesome yearly goals that I have no clue if I will accomplish. July, my favorite month, which is also what we're going to do as the first month of this notebook. And even though I was filming this in July, which doesn't really count, but the only reason I did July was to use this as an experiment to test out what I could do. And of course, I started off with July's title page. I did it with a pencil first, outlined, and I wanted it kind of like this fruity, summery theme. And so I had added some watermelons, a lemon, cherries, plants. After that, I moved on to the calendar, and this required like so much measurements and like math, but don't worry, it's not that bad math. I did some very like simple cursive for the days at the top. I added the numbers for the days, some dividers and doodles at the top, July, the title at the corner, and I also cut up some scrapbook paper and just taped that at the corner for more notes, because why not? Watermelon, and orange, and then a lemon, and then maybe a lime. Should I do a lime? Should I do a dragon fruit? I should do a dragon fruit. Okay. I don't actually like dragon fruit that much, but there you go. That's my cute border for my calendar that accentuates the summery vibes. The next page was the monthly goals. I made July the pretty cursive and goals the block letters. And then using the fake plant literally in the corner of your screen, I made these not half circles, but like 4/5 circles that overlapped each other. And then I doodled a ton of flowers. This page was entirely inspired by someone. It was totally copied off. No plagiarism, I swear. But then I also added a piece of washi tape at the bottom that was also very floral. And then I filled out my goals. I also added a quote in the middle that says, "Don't be too disappointed," because I really need that, because I get so disappointed when the goals don't work out. The following page is probably the most important for me, and that's a rough schedule of the month. I wrote down the times that I'm usually awake down the page. Then I started filling it out of just an ideal day for me. And this is not obviously the exact day of every single month, but it gives me an idea of what to look for, what to do, especially when I'm like sidetracked. This is also a great way for you guys to write down your class schedule, because we're back to school, kids. Now, for those of you who know me already, which means you should subscribe, I love K-pop, and that also includes K-dramas. And this page was going great. I did the whole normal text and then the spaced out cursive, and then this happened. And then that happened. And then I tried to cover it up with a sticker, but then that happened. So yes, you can make mistakes when you're bullet journaling. You just gotta learn how to cover it up right, which I did not do. Anyways, I divided the page into 4. The first box being XO, because that's my fave and ultimate group, and then comebacks for other groups I love, and a box for new stuff for like dramas and other K-pop, and just things I loved, and I just filled that out. This next page is probably the cutest page in this whole July spread, which is what I call the video planning page. This really helps me out as a YouTuber planning out videos for you guys because it requires a lot of planning. And the whole theme is kind of like a computer theme. I made these 3 rectangles and I made a line at the top and colored that blue, kind of like a Windows tab, and then made the first square red, the second square orange, and the next square green, and just wrote video 1, 2, 3 as the name of the tab, and then fill it out for each video. And that's how I plan my videos for you guys now. I have to admit, making weekly spreads are a pain because they take so long for all the days and like the 4 weeks in a month. But this is an example of a weekly spread that I saw and I tried it out, and it's very minimalistic and aesthetic. And fun fact, I only did week 1 for this July because I literally had the last week of July left when filming this. The next few pages were a notes page because you gotta put the brain junk somewhere, and I also included a reflections page for just the end of the month to reflect over some cheesy, embarrassing times and stuff like that. And I made these very simple, just like a simple title, because I really wanted the content to matter more. No, I was just really lazy. Yay for August, my least favorite month, but the prettiest month in this bullet journal so far. So again, I did the title first using a pencil and then outlining, and then I added some lines as kind of like some character for the title. And I wanted this one to be like a bookish plant theme because, you know, we're back to school this month and books. So yeah. And a big thing that you could do to make a bullet journal even more aesthetic is to add these like hanging vines and plants literally everywhere. It makes it so much more better. And then I moved on to the calendar. I did this one a slightly different format. As you could see, I added more like notes, goals on this one, and added more doodles. I love the title for this one. I used the Crayola marker, and then I filled it out. And yeah, I hate August, just to, you know, accentuate that more. The following page was the K-pop and K-drama page, and luckily this one turned out really nice. I made 4 rectangles and then added some lines at the bottom to give it like this cool drop shadow. And again, I did like EXO, comebacks, new stuff. And yes, the title came out right this time. I was careful. The next one was another monthly schedule day, and I did this really similar to the July one with the times going down the page and just filling it out, making it look all pretty. And so I added more plants because aesthetic, guys, the aesthetic. And this is where the back to school like the schedules come in, because yeah, like it or not, we are back to school. So this was supposed to be my goals page, and this was supposed to be my K-pop and K-drama page. So we switch now. Literally the amount of times I zoned out and made mistakes while bullet journaling is, yeah, I don't even know. But for this page, I did it a little similar to the July one, and I did a little bit more like black and white. I added some washi tape to title each circle for different kinds of goals, such as academics, life, activities, and just other. I ended up making the video planning page the same theme of like the computer tabs. I just made the title 10 times scooter, and again I did the same thing, made each tab a different video and planned that out for you guys. Now I was just about to show off my amazing weekly spread, but then I realized something. It's supposed to be Sunday. Tip: when you're bullet journaling, keep track, very careful track of what you're bullet journaling, especially when it comes to dates. There you go, tip from an expert. So I made this weekly spread a kind of new theme. I didn't do the minimalistic one like I did for July, and each week had a different color as a theme, kind of like fall colors, because I personally think fall starts in August, and don't fight me on that. So for this page, I kind of did like gray. I added some books and doodles at the top. And for this month, what I didn't do last month is I added a mood tracker because I thought this was fun and kind of cute. I did a Polaroid theme because literally almost every mood tracker on Pinterest is a Polaroid theme, and so I was like, yeah, why not? And I did some boxes at the top for different moods. I did smiley faces as the different moods because I didn't want to write words, because why not? And added more vines and plants because aesthetic. I ended up making the notes page quite similar to the July one by having the cursive word extend out on both sides. And then I added some scrapbook paper at the bottom for literally no reason why, but you know, just more notes and brain junk space. And there you go. That's my broke aesthetic attempt bullet journal. But seriously though, I hope you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun doing this, and I hope I gave you guys some ideas to starting one, because seriously though, bullet journals scream productivity, and I think we all need some more of that. Give this video a thumbs up if you would like more bullet journaling videos, and again guys, happy back to school. Toodles.